The kids were playing in their room. The dad was in the house watching his big TV. It went on fire. They're all sitting outside on a log watching it go on fire. The insurance loss adjuster turns up, and they turn around, and behind them, their house is getting rebuilt behind them exactly the way it was. And everybody goes into the rooms and they look the same, but Johnny goes to his room and it's a brick wall.
Sometimes see as well where, it might have been built by somebody's grandfather 50 years ago, but the access to rebuild that property in that area is quite different in terms of the building costs there.
I think you've just dropped the best comment in the podcast that we've done yet. NZI were on the slip of the Titanic. You just can't get better than that. We're not cutting that out.
Let me fact check it.
Welcome to our podcast. We've got Nick Sollitt here today from NZI, which is awesome. Welcome, Nick.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have a long-term partner in talking to us. I'm really interested in hearing how you get into insurance and how you've ended up in the role that you're in, which is exciting.
So I've been in insurance for 27 years and with the same company for 27 years. So
wow.
I started as an entry-level claims handler with state insurance,
right.
Probably I think it must have been 1999. And sort of pretty much fresh out of uni. And at the time, I didn't really come in like a lot of people in insurance wanting a career in insurance. What I did want was a career in a large company. So that was the attraction there. So yeah, I just sort of worked my way across through claims, did some work in commercial claims for a while, then came out and started in the NZI personal lines area about 20 odd years ago. Spent a bit of time back and did some earthquake claims too, and also some time doing some tech projects in the middle there. But now back sort of where I sort of grew up in personal line and NZI in personal lines, back there. So heading up that business and yeah, really excited with what we're doing.
What's the full title of your role at the moment?
Executive Manager, Personal Lines for NZI.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations on that, because that was about a year ago you got...
Yeah, August last year. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, big step up and a great opportunity.
Yeah, well, you've worked all your way. You can't say you've not worked your way up to that.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, the company's been great to me and given me many opportunities.
So you said that you did some earthquake claims there. Did you do BAU or business as usual when the earthquake was going on, or did you get dragged into that like everybody else?
Yeah, because had experience in NZI and brokers, came in probably, I think it was around 2016 or 15, 16, when were just to help to negotiate some of those claims with broker clients. So yeah, that was really exciting times, rewarding, but sometimes in ways that you wouldn't expect to be rewarding, and that you've helped somebody move on, sometimes when they didn't even feel like they had. So really interesting time for Christchurch, and great for me. I'm Christchurch born and bred, still live in Christchurch, so to help out in that environment was an amazing part of my career.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We were down there as a business. I was down there and did a lot of claims for another big insurer, and that's really what started this business on its journey of insurance, because I had never really worked in insurance before. So the distinction product that NZI have got, it came from a Echelon product. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was the old variant at the time, was Echelon, which is probably more the standard offering in insurance. So in around 2004, we had a look at the market and really saw that there was a lot more going on in terms of size of home. There was a lot more going on in terms of special features and complexities in homes that wasn't necessarily being met by the standard insurance market. So we really wanted to create something bigger and better and differentiate that product offering so that customer could really have that confidence that their specific, unique, sometimes high value, sometimes large home was catered for. What the product contract gives, and that's underwriting service, but also claim service. So we made sure that those service offerings were really fantastic as well. I actually was involved in the business at the time. Interesting, we're doing a podcast and a YouTube video on this. Back then, it was 2004. There was a launch pack, and we actually grabbed a DVD-ROM, put that in the launch pack, sent it out to brokers, and they popped that in their PC and pushed play, and here was the video on this is fantastic for Distinction. So really, we're in the third relaunch of that now. We're always updating, but we've relaunched that just in February, bring it again up to be a leading product in the market. So just interesting, that contrast of how, this technology moves on, but also we make sure the product moves on really well as well.
So you can imagine all these brokers sitting around their one PC in the office.
Exactly, pushing play and watching the 3-minute video with the elevator music in the background.
What's the big changes from the last iteration to now?
What Distinction delivers is greater insurance protection and the opportunity for deeper relationships in the broker market. So we want a product and peripheral services like construction cost consultants that do more than just the product.
Yep.
Right now, where it adds value is trying to get a product in a place where it deals with the complexity of the world. So there's a lot of complexity in the world right now from world events. Yeah. And, if we are doing this podcast in 2 years, there'll be a different world event. And that flows through into different costs in the insurance chain. If you look at New Zealand, there's a lot of natural hazards that occur. So our wider business had 33,000 claims last year related to natural hazards. Look, also what we think Distinction brings, we see a lot of high net worth clients, maybe they've got remote properties, complex retaining walls on the content side, works of art, large jewellery collections, things like that. And so it just helps to meet the complexity of the market. So using our underwriting and claims expertise to really just hit that specific need of that client.
I had a break-in a few years ago, and I was a Distinction customer, and I found the process really easy. It was so simple. I didn't have to worry about my insurance. I worried more about the break-in than what I was going to do. And your guys helped me understand how to make my house more secure as well, which was fantastic.
Okay.
And that's what I would expect from a product like that. So we've our businesses have been in partnership for over 6 years now, and we've just signed to take us to 9 years, which is fantastic. Over that period, what's the main things that you think that the brokers are interested in the product that we are providing, which is the Rebuild Valuation, and other things that are in the Distinction product that will make brokers want to use it?
Yeah, I think the Rebuild Valuations are a real standout in that it's actually quite hard at times to get the sum insured of your home correct. So it's a tool that is complementary and does the best possible job and that reduces that risk significantly for clients. We've actually seen scenarios as a result of a valuation that has been carried out that the retaining walls on a property were actually significantly more than a policy limit.
Yep.
And so best time to find out is prior to a claim.
Absolutely.
Worst time is at claims time. So we were able to get that right. So wider, and I think in the Distinction product, what we're looking to do, and the valuation is a good example of that, is to have longer term, deeper relationships. Mm-hmm. So the relationship between the customer, the broker, and NZI to be a long-term one. And so we do a great product, great clauses, but then peripheral benefit in terms of getting that insurance stuff right. Some of the other things I think that Distinction delivers is that specialisation in terms of the people who are looking at the homes. We've got people underwriting these high-value homes that have seen many of them at very, very large values, and they understand some of the intricacies of them. But it's more the claims team, I think, that is a real point of difference for us. So we have a claims leadership relationship team. There's 5 people in there, and they back up the team that do Distinction. So what they do is they go in within 2 days of every Distinction claim being lodged to make sure it's on the path to success.
Oh, right. Awesome.
So that's 5 people. I asked them for their insurance experience. I managed to establish that it was over 100 years amongst 5 people.
Wow.
They've been on the ground in Christchurch earthquakes, Cyclone Gabriel, things like that. So they're effectively checking that claim's going to go well. And that's the team that will ensure that the customer gets a fantastic experience. The last thing probably that distinction delivers is certainty. So you've got NZI. We've been in the country and business for over 165 years. Got Distinction that's been here for more than 20 years. And we've just relaunched and made the product the best in market, so that you've got the certainty that what you're getting there is the best product out there.
Yeah. I wonder what NZI were insuring 165 years ago. It'd be a horse and cart or something like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Lots of different things back then. Yes. But I believe we were actually on the slip of the Titanic.
Oh, wow.
Maybe not NZI itself, but one of our parent companies or our previous predecessors.
Wow.
We were actually on the slip for the Titanic.
That's cool, but not cool. That's one of them things, isn't it? That's fantastic. I think you've just dropped the best comment in the podcast that we've done yet. NZI were on the slip of the Titanic. You just can't get better than that. We're not cutting that out.
Let me fact check it. Let me fact check it, yeah.
When customers' rebuild value is not right at the right sum, and there's a disaster or something happens, they have a claim, who does that responsibility sit with?
Ultimately, the responsibility to get your sum insured right sits with the customer. But I think it's all of our roles in the industry to make sure that they're armed with as much information and tools as possible. So as I've said, it's hard to get it right. And so we need to be pointing out things that are complexities and things that they need to consider in setting that sum insured, and then giving them tools like a complementary valuation with Distinction or other tools out there to help to set that. I think when places where we've seen under insurance, and it can happen in a higher value market just as much as lower. I think the trap sometimes is you see a high value or in a high sum insured, so it must be enough.
Yes.
But it has to be enough for the specific complexities of your property. When you're buying a property, you're going in, you're buying something that is in a particular location, which alters the value of that property. And that's about the land underneath or the suburb, and lots of different factors go into that. Where it is in the country, Auckland, Christchurch, Hamilton.
And a beautiful view.
Exactly. And that's what drives the market value of that property. What we're concerned about in the insurance world is the rebuild cost, which is impacted by location, but it's not impacted by the same amount of factors. So it's really easy to buy a property for $900,000 and then insure a property for $900,000, which may or may not be the right value. It's just that the market said that was $900,000. And we have the market go up and down.
Yes, we do, yeah.
So that $900,000 could be $810,000 now. That doesn't impact in the same way the cost to rebuild the properties, much other different forces that we sometimes see as well, where it might have been built by somebody's grandfather 50 years ago, but the access to rebuild that property in that area is quite different in terms of the building costs there.
And I can tell you, in the 30 odd years I've been working in the construction industry, the overall build cost of properties doesn't come down. It's always going up because it goes up with inflation. You've got labour costs, you've got material costs, you've got fuel costs. Everything affects that cost. So the fact of the construction costs going up. We did an advert years ago, and I tried to take it off the back of another advert that I seen in Australia and that they had done over there. The kids were playing in their room. The dad was in the house watching his big TV, blah, blah, blah. It went on fire. They're all sitting outside on a log watching it go on fire. The insurance loss adjuster turns up and they turn around and behind them, the house is getting rebuilt behind them exactly the way it was. And they go in and everybody goes into the rooms and they look the same. But Johnny goes to his room and it's a brick wall because they'd underinsured by, by that.
That's a powerful ad.
It was very powerful ad. And I tried to copy something that never got the same. They had killed it, knocked it out of the park. And I seen it and I was like, that's the advert I need for our business. I've never been able to get the right advert.
Yeah, it's challenging, right? And I think it's the more it gets talked about at different points of the insurance process, It's just better for everyone.
Yeah. Well, as you said earlier, that more and more and more people are talking about it, which is what we need. We need everybody talking about it. We need the brokers talking to their customers about it. The more educated we can get, the help them get, and the more educated they can get their customers, it's much better for all of us. We hear a lot of people saying, and it's generally older people whose kids have moved out of the house and they're staying in their family home, and they say, I would never build a 4-bedroom house this size again. But the value is in that property. And that's what we say, the market value, all your money is in this. You'd be better rebuilding it and buying something smaller. So insure it for that. And if you don't want to be in this house, you need to move to something smaller then. You're right, that's a big thing about it, is rebuilding, understanding what to rebuild. We get asked a lot about that. If I sent you onto the street today, and who would you say was your ideal customer to come in for the Distinction product?
Yeah, someone that wants to get their insurance contract right. Someone that probably isn't just looking for the cheapest deal. I think that's the challenge within a lot of insurance nowadays. It's so easy to get a price and so easy to compare. You've really got to bring in the quality of the wording and the services and not only look at price.
And that's a big problem in the insurance market. People just look at price a lot, and you need to that's why you need a broker to do these things for you, because they'll help you understand what's included in that price.
Yeah, absolutely. And ideal customer is a broker customer. NZI is a brand that deals with insurance brokers. And so, using their advice model to get the best for yourselves as customers.
Yep.
That's how the model, how our business works, working with brokers.
Oh, and from our experience, I would say that Distinction customers are the people that do know what's in their house. We go in and they tell our guys what's the special features in the property. Or this is a stone we paid this for, this kitchen we've paid this for. They know what they've done and they understand the property, which is great for us.
Most of the time they built it themselves. Yes. A lot of the time, so they do know that, and that was a passion project for them for a couple of years potentially. So they do know that. I think sometimes it's the what's it worth now?
Yes.
And that can change really rapidly. That is a little bit of fish hook, and where you can add a lot of value there.
That's good. We've certainly seen, since your relaunch, we've certainly seen an increase in the work coming through for it, which I thank you for. So obviously you're getting penetration in the market, which is fantastic. The brokers out there, even the ones that are listening to us and the ones that are speaking to us, are obviously listening to what you're telling them, and they're pushing it as much as they can. So well done with the relaunch.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in to see us. I really appreciate it.
I love the opportunity, and thank you just for the ongoing relationship. Right, it's really important to us. So we do appreciate it, and looking forward to that for the next 3 years, as you mentioned.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks a lot.